What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, SERG VICENTE, and this is episode 302 of the show. So today we have a great show, all right? I have a guest that I'm really excited about because here's the thing. In MMA, there's coaches, but just like in everything else, there's levels to this shit, and there's only a couple that I like to say Yoda level type of coaches, and I am so blessed to have one of those dudes on the show today. This guy coaches multiple champions. He's a 2020 MMA Coach of the Year. I am talking about no other than Eric Nicksick. Eric, brother, what it do, man? Welcome to the Fight Podcast.
Serge, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, look, seriously, man, I'm so happy to have you on. It's always a pleasure to talk to people that honestly are just understand the game and are just so involved in the game. It's always such a great time. I mean, especially talking with one of the best minds in the sport, man. And you, my friend, have been doing this for a long time. And all of a sudden, it seems like everybody in your team is starting to kick ass. I don't know if it's just like the water you guys are drinking over there in Vegas or anything else y'all doing in Vegas. I mean, bud is legal, so it is what it is. But but dude, congratulations on all your success, man. But what is it about not just the gym itself, because the gym has such history specifically within MMA, but what is it about like your coaching style that really has been separating you guys from everybody else?
Honestly, Serge, well, first of all, thank you for the high regards, man. I think it has to do a lot with the just the system. You know, we as coaches set a standard years ago with Coach Robert Follis. We wanted to make sure that we held a standard. We set a standard. We held that standard. The nice thing about that is that standard was set by the coaches and the team and the fighters. Yeah. We sat and we asked. We said, what do we want to be known for? Do we want to just go and win some fights, or do we want to be world champions? And of course, everybody in the room raised their hand and says world champions. And we're like, great, okay, if that's the case, then we're going to set a standard, and here's how we're going to set it. It's not because it's my standard. This is what our standard is this team. And people need to buy in. It's almost like that Nick Saban mindset. We're a system, we're a program, and once the program gets rolling, man, you see guys start winning fights and winning world titles. So that's product of the team itself.
It's so interesting that you guys really have a legitimate system, and it's like a team. It feels like and sounds like a team. As opposed to, and you always hear fighters like, oh, you want to go, and some people want to be by themselves, and seeing that there's a legitimate team atmosphere, and there seems like there's a legitimate like iron sharpens iron within the room there. But more importantly, which I've seen from the outside looking in, it seems like you have a bunch of guys that honestly respect what you guys are telling them. And it really shows. I mean, the fact that Dan Ige, who is such a beast in his own right, everything and where he's come from where we first started seeing him before he's even in the UFC to now. And then you even have guys like Aljamain Sterling coming to your gym, who's already a champion. So, is it just me seeing it, or is it really just like a team is bought in and it's just like there's like a lot of respect and love for everybody around?
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing is when people do come to the gym, for example, when Walt Harris came over to us, I explained to Walt, I said, look, man, we're no magic wand. We don't just wave a magic wand over your head and then a couple of us jump in your corner and all of a sudden you start winning fights. You need to get your ass into the gym and fall in line with what the system tells, meaning the practices and the verbiage, the hard work that we do in and out, whether it's in the morning sessions or the night sessions. And I think that's what's important, is that people buy into what we're doing and understand that we're, you're not going to throw a couple of us in the corner and that just makes it work. So,
facts.
But that and then in that turn, a lot of guys understand that that's what makes us good. Man, like Brad Tavares, he's a team captain. I don't have to say a whole lot.
He's been there forever too.
He's been there forever. So with that standard being set, I don't have to say a whole hell of a lot, because Brad is the guy that will go around and say, hey, where's your tape? Why don't you have this on? Why are you late? So he's kind of that team captain and keeps the uniformity and everybody kind of, checks and balances, if you will, especially when it's Brad. It's nice to have a do the old head kick your ass if there's a problem.
No shit. I was about to be like, yeah, this huge ass Samoan walking down the way. Like, yeah, that would have me shape up. Let's get into this, man, because what is it? Because I know a lot of people, ask all kinds of stuff, but for yourself, what really got you into this? What got you into not just MMA, but also just transitioning into coaching? Because that's something in its own right.
Yeah, honestly, Serge, it was the camaraderie, the people, being around like-minded individuals. I found myself kind of in limbo in a ways where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. And I found like that where I started to look at my surroundings and the people that I was hanging around. And, it wasn't that the fact that they weren't go-getters, but it just really wasn't what I wanted to be. It was just kind of a mundane life. And then when I got into Xtreme Couture, I was around guys who were chasing world titles and bigger dreams. And, their thought process was different. Their work ethic was different. And it was just contagious. And I didn't know – I never really wanted to be a pro fighter, but I knew I wanted to be around people that were going to elevate my game and make me a better person day in and day out, make me a better husband, and be a better father, all those things. And then furthermore, once I felt like I had a veteran leadership role in that gym, then I wanted to hold that standard even higher. So honestly, man, it was just around being around good people that wanted to work hard.
That's dope, man. Man. And to think about this, I mean, you guys, again, it is, and I look at it as one of like the OG gyms to an extent of MMA, and you're looking at it, and it's funny because you guys have really gone through a resurgence. It went from like they were, top of the game to people weren't really talking about you. And now it's like everybody, and I don't know if it was 2020 where the UFC was always, picking your guys' fighters and you guys just whooping everybody's ass or what it was. But there was a turn and everything that really changed happened. When was that? What do you feel like that change really happened where all of a sudden everything's fucking clicking on all cylinders? Yeah,
it's funny because...
And I understand it's MMA. It goes like, it's a fight game. We understand how it goes.
Yeah, it has its ups and downs and it goes through its cycles. But, you're absolutely right. I feel like when Misha beat Holly Holm, it really helped us solidify that vision that we had with the gym and the team. And then obviously with Misha retiring and leaving, and then the new wave, the new crop of guys keep coming up, and it's that ebb and flow and constant battle. I think when you own and operate a gym, but I think for us it's just kind of that keep your head down and grind, and good things will happen, right? And I keep telling our guys, man, you got to come to one of the practices because I don't allow us to ever feel like we made it. We have not made it, and
I would love to.
And that's the mentality that I have. I get on guys all the time. Don't get complacent and think that we've made it, because there's no arrival. There's no like you made it, all right, and there's a big parade. Fuck no, man. We're grinding every day, and every day that now all I tell guys is, there's a bigger target on our back, and people see that and they want to try to beat us. Fuck that. We ain't going to allow that to happen. We're going to keep grinding and remember what got us here.
Fact, dude. And I love hearing that, because that's such a mentality to have. Do you think, because again, you are not just the head coach there, you're the GM as well, having to operate a business but as in business, as as an entrepreneur, you're always kind of trying to evolve. You're always, trying to grow and do. Does that same type of grind, being a coach as well as the businessman, how has that balance helped you out? How has that been able to really, do you take a little bit? Do they feel like they complement each other?
Yeah, with Ryan Couture now taking over ownership, and then myself, it's allowed me to really focus in on the gym aspect and the fight team. Yeah, I kind of look at it as a general with the boots on the ground, right? I'm not like the Pentagon where I'm over here and I'm calling the shots from a war room where it's a nice comfy fucking. No, I'm boots on the ground. I know what I need. I know when I need reinforcements. I know when I need to, cut somebody's head off. I need to know, what I mean? Like it allows me to operate the way I need to operate. And, a lot of that testament goes to Ryan. And, we wanted to build something, myself and Randy, when I took over the gym. And that was a goal of mine, because Randy said, eventually I want to hand this business over to Ryan. And Ryan's one of my best friends. One of the guys, I was in his wedding. We're very tight, and I wanted to leave him something that was going to be an asset, not a liability.
Absolutely, no, that's great, man. So let's talk about this. You already mentioned her name. Misha left. Now she's back. Looks in phenomenal shape, and from what I'm hearing, she's looking like a killer again. I mean, how has it been having her, not just her presence in it, because she has always been, she's a leader. She's absolutely a leader. She's, and having that presence, that championship medal back. How has that been?
Man, it's so awesome. She's just so humble. She works so hard and keeps her head down and grinds. She's just one of the best teammates you're going to have in the room. She's like a little sister to me. But, having her there and having her presence in the room, certainly, I mean, like the big thing I noticed too, man, when she retired, so she kept all the women in the gym in check, and then when she left, I was like, wait a minute, like, why are all these girls fighting all of a sudden? Like, there's all these like cliques with all these women and shit. Where Misha was like the one that like hammered everybody. I was like, dude, I need you back just to keep these girls in line. But now that she's back and she's really focused in, and I think she's come back with a better headspace. She doesn't have any of the bullshit outside distractions. She seems like she loves the sport again. She's really like, she's never skipped a beat. So when it comes to her mental side of things, it's all been, caught up. Her physical is caught back up with her mental. And, man, like, fuck, she looks incredible. The sparring's been great. Everything's been awesome for her. So I'm really looking forward to see her fight tomorrow night.
Oh, dude, that fight should be dope. And obviously, like I said, that's why one of the reasons you're out there quarantined up right now. So, but no, I'm excited about that because we haven't seen her. And it's amazing when you think about it, especially when she retired. She was just 2 fights removed from the title, So it was one of those, I mean, as a fan, I think all of us were like, damn, like, okay, I guess like that's what she's doing, but having her back, and the fact of the matter is that she's still not that old, so she can absolutely still go out there and do work. But let me ask you this: you've had everybody from Randy the legend to, I mean, now you got Francis, and you have, I mean, you've been in the room with Kamaru, you've been in a room with Aljo and all these guys. What is it about these champions that separates them from everybody else?
Man, that's a great question, bro. And I'll tell you, it's the details. It's the little details, the little things, right? It's the character things. Those are the things that, for me as a coach, I start to analyze a little bit deeper. And I'll give you some examples. So obviously these guys are all talented, right? The talent level is always there. But you start to see the little things after practice. So practice is over. 90% of the people, when practice is done, they're done. Their practice is now over. But the 10% are doing a little bit of extra work. They're the ones that are, running on the treadmill. They're doing all this little extra things. But I'll tell you something about Aljo, like his character. Yeah. He's been a guy, he's a Cerro Longo guy by heart. Like, he's number one. That's his gym. So he's kind of a guest in regards to our gym, right? But rounds are over. He's the first guy to go grab the mop bucket and clean and help clean up his area and do all the things that, like, it says a lot about the man's character. He's fighting for a title against Piotr Jan, and his last sparring rounds, he goes and grabs the mop and bucket and cleans the mat, cleans the cage. You know what I mean? And those are things that I notice as a coach now, is the character issues, the character details, if you will. Are you prepared? Do you show up on time for your practices for your coach? Is your time more important than mine? Right? Like, what do you show me as a competitor? Right? How do you pay your coaches? How do you take care of your coaches? All those little things, man. And you see that, like, I held a couple rounds for Kamaru while he's in town, and this dude broke me off with money that you would give a guy if he did a camp for you. And I'm like, Kamaru, you don't have to pay me this. And he goes, I have the ability to pay my coaches with that, and I appreciate your time more than anything. And you're like, dude, that's amazing. You'll go to war for people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, that's amazing. And again, you have been in the room with, honestly, the best of the best. And I can't lie, I almost feel bad for you when I've seen you holding pass for Francis. I actually kind of do, man. I see you in there, man. Yeah. So, okay, let's get into it, especially with Francis. And I have to ask you, because I think all of us assumed right away we were going to get John Jones. We were looking at it. We got John and everything coming up. And all of a sudden it goes from whatever brouhaha with John to Derek Lewis to, man, now we see we have the interim belt. The man literally won the title in March, and now he has an interim belt coming up. Now, I don't even have to ask, but I'm going to ask. Yo, I know that you guys thought this was ridiculous when when you guys saw the news.
Yeah, the hard part is that we accepted to take the fight September 25th, we were going to fight Derek September 25th, but you know, and again, the UFC they have a job to do, they have a promotion to run, and if you're going to have a fight in Houston, you don't have a fight in Houston without Derek Lewis, right? He's your headliner that you have to have. So
Houston born and raised, yeah.
Man, 100%. So it's not the matchup I think that we're disappointed with. I think it's the label of the interim. And, you know, I just wish that there was a better standard set for the interim belt across the board. Hey, you don't fight for a year, you're injured, one of those things, then by all means, put the label on it. But, you know, just from the backside of it, where we're just like, well, wait, we accepted the fight. We're just negotiating terms, and it had nothing to do with money. Right. It had to do with length, right? So that was the biggest thing for us was, you know, and again, like I said, the UFC, they wanted to move on with something. They wanted to make a big fight. Who better to make than these two for that? But the interim side of things, I think, was the thing that was a little disheartening. But we all know where that title runs through, and it runs through from man in Cameroon. So we'll deal with that once it's all over.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you believe that it's getting to a point in time where, because one thing that MMA, I believe, always had over boxing is that fights get made. The fights that we want to see get made, and it seemed as if the business never got in the way of the sport. Do you think it's starting to get to a point now that entertainment is more important than the sport itself within MMA?
It can be, but in this particular instance, like I just don't feel like it's worth stepping over $1 to pick up a dime. Like, why fight about, you know, like I mean, who cares what John Jones wants to get paid? Just pay the guy, you know, pay him and pay Francis and take care of these guys because, you know, if Connor and Dustin did 1.8 million, right, in pay-per-view buys, what do you think Francis and John's going to do? Right?
They definitely get over 2. I've talked about on this show before. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah.
So if his numbers, if John Jones' numbers are 20 million, which he's not asking for 20 million, but let's just say it is.
Right.
He's probably damn near. They're going to generate that much in buys, right? I mean, for what these guys are asking for, the UFC is going to make a whole lot of money.
Facts.
I get it, man. Just they have a business to run. Pay these dudes, and I'm telling you, man. Like they're gonna generate this type of revenue. It's the best super fight I've seen.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's a fight that it is one of those questions that you want to see. You have a guy that is as freakishly large as a Francis Ngannou, but then you also have the guy that a lot of people really believe is the GOAT. This is our era of like a Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis in MMA. You know, and it would be fantastic to actually see, but so I hope we eventually get to see that coming forward. But let me ask you again, just transition to another one of your many bam, you got all the champions over there. I can just ask you about all of them. We got Aljo coming up. Aljo is somebody who, again, you said before, he is a Serra-Longo guy who's coming over again. He's one of yours now, but a lot of people are doubting him. And seeing what he is now that he's with you guys for a full camp, he's there. He's healthy now. How do you see this fight with Petr Yan being different?
I mean, I think it's going to be just a lot of the same things that we saw. But you know, I think when they've got a little bit of time to figure one another out now, and what game plans do we set forward? So it's almost going to be a bigger chess match, I think, because we got to see one another. But we also know that, you know, Aljo in this particular fight, we were gonna pull him, man. Like he had a bad neck injury. We weren't sure how it was gonna shake out. And to Aljo's credit, he said, like, look, man, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get this shot if I back out, if I pull out. Yeah. So I want to make this opportunity. And you know, it's an unfortunate thing, the stem of events that happen, man. That's not the way anybody wanted to win. That's not the way I wanted to see Petr Yan lose. But now that we have the opportunity to go back to the drawing board and you know, these guys are going to do this thing on October. So, you know, we'll sit down with Ray and Coach Matt and figure out how these guys want to game plan this thing, and we'll get this ball rolling again. But, you know, I'm looking forward to it. Petr Yan's a stud. You know, I got to hold for the guy before. I got to work with this guy. I was not surprised of his rise to stardom, man. This guy is unbelievable. So we have our hands full, and we're just looking forward to, you know, the X's and O's behind it and getting back behind the drawing board again.
That's amazing, man. I can't honestly. That's a fight that I think a lot of people are looking forward to because there wasn't the finality that we wanted. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of the finality that we wanted, and I have to say, you must have gotten your coaching chops from your mom because if she's the one that gave that picked that out, what she saw it, you put it up on Instagram. You said your mom was the one that ended up seeing the break. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit, that is it! I missed it too. That's crazy." Yeah. How was that, man? And, just seeing that, and then I know you've been getting some Joe Rogan talked about it, everything.
Yeah. So the funny part about it is my mom wrote me in the morning, and my mom's never awake that early. So when I woke up, I saw my mom text me, and it was like this, like screenshots, and it was all this, like, you got to look at this and check this out. I was like, all right, mom, like, I'll look at it when I get up, And so I got up, and then I watched it, and I was like, holy shit, like she's onto something here. I could see him dropping the elbow down on the front foot off the tape, and I was like, so the whole post was honestly just the credit to my mom for actually getting up in the morning and looking at a little tape. I wasn't even like saying this is how he broke it. I'm not saying any of this. I was just praising my mom for like, good for you, mom. Like, I'm glad you're into this as much as I am. Like, props to you. And then that shit went viral. And I was like, "Oh, dude, here we go, man." Joe's great, bro. I love Joe. And he's always giving me props and love and everything else. But once he said that out to my mom, I was like, "Oh, fuck, here we go." My mom's asking when she gets a blue check mark now and all this shit. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Hey, so the moms are asking for blue checks. Like, she's gonna be in the corner with you next fight too, man.
Oh, bro, she's a G though, Serge. I'm telling you, man. Like, anybody in my fighters is fighting, my mom is gonna roll with you, dude. Like, she's a G. So
really?
I love it. Oh yeah, she's the best, dope. Man. Yeah, she's the best.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. Well, dude, look, that's great. Well, let me ask you this, a couple more things. And again, thank you so much for your time today, man. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, man. So we have we had the and I'll ask you a couple quick hits because we got a bunch. I mean, just MMA has been better than ever. There's so many amazing matchups. There's great fights. Let me ask you this before I even get into to Conor and them this past week. Who do you guys have? What up-and-comer in Xtreme Couture is coming up that we should be paying attention to? Who is it coming out of your gym now that you're like, you know what? These couple people, whatever, are just you need to pay attention and watch out for?
Well, I'll give you one guy that's already in the UFC, but he's just kind of on that rise. He fights next week. His name's Punahele Soriano. Puna's 2-0 in the UFC, both wins by knockout. He fights Brandon Allen next week, but he's not
Brandon
necessarily
Allen's a badass too. That's gonna be a good fight. Man.
It's gonna be a great fight. I think it's on the main card, so he's not really a up and comer, if you will, but I think he's an up and comer guy that you'll see. Dana will probably do one of those. If you don't know, now you know. It's Punahele, bro. This guy, honest to God, and I get a little flack for this. He's pound for pound the hardest hitter that I hold pads for, man. Pound for pound, this dude can crack. He can crack.
Wait, he said he's fighting at 85. He can crack more than you said. Pound for pound.
Pound for pound, this dude hits the hardest I've ever held pads for, man. This guy is a nightmare. Is an absolute freaking nightmare. Yeah, and I hold pads for Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I said. With the moment you said that, I'm like, wait, you do know who you hold pads for?
Yeah,
wait a minute.
I'm telling you, man. Puna can light him up, dude. He can light him up. So, and then as far as the young guys, up and coming guys, obviously you have Ryder Newman, who's on the Ultimate Fighter show right now. He's hopefully will be on the finale card. We have Puni Braden. Puni, young, talented kid. He's a 125er. He had his LFA debut. I think he knocked his guy out in like 12, 13 seconds. So he's been a guy in the room for a long, long time. Montel Williams is another one. Montel's been a born and raised through the system of the gym at Xtreme Couture from the amateur level on up. Juan Camilo, who made his UFC debut on a one-day notice. He's another one, the 125er. So a lot of young, up and talented kids, young up and comers. But definitely little Puni, man. Like I think he's one to watch. He's a sniper. He's on the video with Francis, where he's give Francis the body shot challenge. He's one of the small little Hawaiians, and he almost sat Francis's ass down. But old Puni, man, Puni's a stud.
That's what's up. No, I'm gonna check him out, and he fights next week. Yeah.
Puna is next week.
Puna fights next week.
Yeah, all these Hawaiians, bro. It's tough.
Hawaiians, bro. Yeah.
They got like fucking 15 names and shit. You got to keep them all in mind. But Puna next week. I'll be in quarantine with Puna next week, and then Pooney, hopefully we'll get him back in LFA again soon. So
fire. Oh, I love it, man. Well, look, I always like to ask everybody these questions because we're all martial arts fans, right? So, couple things. What is your go-to like kung fu martial arts flick? What is yours like? I just love that movie. That's one of the ones I love. What would yours be?
Man, I'll say Warrior. I liked Warrior a lot. Like it was one of my favorite
With Tom Hardy in them.
Yeah, man. I like that movie a lot. I just like that kind of resiliency grind that they had. You know, I love the fighter with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg. I like that movie a lot. Nice. You know, those are always like just.
Had your 1 second. You froze on me for one moment. Let me see if we get you back here. 2 seconds. Sorry about that, everybody. I want to make sure we get Coach Eric. Let me see. Put this off to the side. Give us 1 second, guys. We're getting everything squared away for you. This is episode 302 of the Fight Podcast. We are with Coach Eric Nicksick of Xtreme Couture. Let's try to get him back on here. Trying to get everything going. Remember, guys, make sure you listen to Fight Podcast everywhere podcasting is available. Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Check us out at fightpodcast.com as well. So one moment. I want to get Eric back on the show. It's been awesome, man. Everything that he's saying, again, about the coaching, you know, the team itself is just such an incredible variety of athletes that he has out there. We're going to give him a second, try to get him back on here for us. Hey, and the producer on the track, you're absolutely correct. The character is absolutely key. It's fantastic hearing everything that coach has with, you know, these incredible athletes. Let's try to get him back on one more time. If not, like I said, it's been, you know, live TV, guys. Hold up for one moment. Hoping, like I said, everything's great this weekend. We have an amazing UFC card this weekend. It's headlined by Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is actually also going out there and competing against Thiago Moises. Thiago Moises is a badass dude, man. If you guys don't know, he's somebody who has he's incredibly great with his submission skills, but can his submission skills actually hold up to anything that's happening with Islam Makhachev? I don't know. I generally don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Here we go. Glad to hit you back. There we go. There you go. Back. See, that had me spitballing, man. I'm over here trying to talk about, you know, Islam Makhachev and Thiago Moises.
You know, that residence in Wi-Fi over here in the residence and penitentiary that we stay in.
Hey, well, look, at least you guys don't have to be there as long as you did before. I know you guys had to be like quarantined for like, you know, like, what was it, like at least a week before. At least now it's only a couple days.
Yeah, so you know they change it every time we're here. It's like every week is something new. So like once we get the hang of something, it's something else. You know, the weekend when we had Felder took the fight on 4-day notice against RDA. You know, I was allowed to come in and out, and we were doing. And then the next week they're like, all right, once you're in, you're in. You can't leave. And we're like, fuck, I got work to do, and all, you know. So it's just crazy, man. So it's nice. Like for me, usually I'll my routine has been give them their final workout at the gym on Tuesday. They'll go check in on Tuesday. Wednesday, they'll usually have another coach or a training partner with them to work out Wednesday. And then Thursday, I'll come in for the weight cut.
Makes sense. No, that probably works well for everybody. Probably there's like a comfort level also with the athletes that they probably like with that. It makes sense, you know. Yeah. Well, okay. Let me ask you this then before we get you out of here. I know we're right around a half hour, and I want to make sure you do what you got to do. But have to ask you about this. If you have a go-to MMA fight, that's your favorite fight that you've seen, what is your favorite MMA fight of all time?
Ooh, definitely Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald. I think that was one of my ones that stand out the most. Man. Another one that I remember being at live was Dan Henderson and Shogun Rua. That was the one in San Jose. That one was a wild one, man. Freaking barn burner. Yeah. You know, and then those two really stand out to me the most. I just some crazy back and forth fights, but at the same time, man, some of my favorite ones to watch.
Oh, dude, the fact that Nick Diaz is about to fight Robbie Lawler is 17, whatever the hell years later, dude, I cannot wait to see that one. I can only hope MMA gods, please make that an exciting fight. I mean, what the hell am I talking about? It's going to be an exciting fight, but
yeah, man, it's going to be a scrap.
Same level.
It's going to be a scrap.
I can't wait, man. Well, let me ask you this before we get your last, certainly not least, man. And again, thank you so much. What fight are you most looking forward to for the rest of 2021?
That Francis John Jones fight.
Yeah. There we go.
John Jones fight, man. That's the one. That's, that honestly, God, like, John Jones to me is a pound for pound GOAT. He's the best to ever do it. And I'm just a competitor, man. I want to compete against the best. I want the opportunity to go and try to beat the best. And I want to try to put a game plan together to beat possibly the greatest to ever do it, man. And it's with no disrespect. It's all love because, I mean that wholeheartedly, dude. I think the guy's amazing. Absolutely. I think his coaches are amazing. And but man, I got in this sport because I want to compete and I want to be right up there with those guys. So who better to do it than our guy from Cameroon, man? I think we're just scratching the surface with his talent. Myself, Seriously. Coach Dewey, all the boys at the gym. It's just a great opportunity for us to go out there and I think fight one of the best to ever do it.
Absolutely. Oh, dude. And salute to your whole staff and team over there. Everybody, Dewey Cooper is a legend. I mean, your wrestling coaches and everything that honestly, the development of Francis over the last couple of years has really been mind-blowing because I think a lot of people didn't expect. When I saw him hit that switch on Stipe, dude, I had to put my drink down. I was like, all right, this is different. Let me pay attention to this. Like, this is nuts, man.
Yeah, man. We had the luxury of having him in the gym for about 2.5, 3 years at Xtreme Couture full time, and he knocked everybody out in the first round. So all the work that he's been putting in the gym has not been shown at all live, So we know what he's capable of, and a lot of people within Xtreme Couture, big guys especially that go with Francis, they know how well this guy can wrestle now. And how hard he is to take down. But furthermore, he's fallen in love with topside ground and pound. He's fallen in love with taking dudes down and beating their brains in. So, I got a lot of stories about old Francis. The Countdown show comes in to do the filming for Stipe. And the producer actually was in last week. And I asked him where the film was. So we had a guy come in, and we needed big bodies. And Dewey brought a guy in for us. And this guy was huge, bro. He looked like a freaking WWE wrestler. And he shoots on Francis, and Francis stuffs the takedown and then hip tosses him. And the guy's head, I mean, he's vertical, up and down, spikes him off his head. And I looked at the guy, the producer from the UFC. I was like, you guys just saw a murder live on TV. and Francis gets on top of this guy and is like, his ground and pound is beating him up. And I was like, does somebody want to check and see if this guy's dead or not? Like,
okay.
He's not, his head like went right into the canvas, man. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that film to eventually come out.
They'll pull that out if he ever eventually does fight John. I hope they pull that out. I hope they show that.
The guy came in last week or 2 weeks ago, filmed some stuff with Dean Thomas. I'm like, you got that footage of Francis airborne that dude? He goes, sure do, man. He goes, I didn't think we should show it. I was like, hell no. Yeah,
dude. Well, Coach Eric, brother. Much continued success with everything you're doing. Thank you so much for your time today. And brother, you are absolutely on that same level as like all those. You're one of those Yoda level coaches, man. I love what I'm seeing from you and the team and everything. I hope we get the chance to do this again. Shit, I hope I get the chance to go to the gym and check you guys out. I'm over here in LA, so hopefully one day I can get over there.
Bro, anytime my door's open, anytime. I think it's important for you guys to come through and see the gym and check out the practices and stuff like that. I think it makes what our gym is so great, and when you're actually in the atmosphere and you see what we do there.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, man. I'll definitely take you up on that. Coach Eric Nicksick, thank you so much, man. Thank you for joining me on the Fight Podcast.
All right, sir. Thanks for having me, my man.
Yes, sir. You have a good one. Take care.
You too. Take care, man.
Yes, sir. Yep. All right, everybody. That was Coach Eric Nicksick of Xtreme Couture, man. Thank you so much for joining me on the show, man. That was incredible. A lot of great insight, a lot of great just conversation with them, man. And I'm so I was always curious to talk about how the mindset of these champions and to be in there on a day in, day out basis with people like, the tutelage of a Randy Couture, the natural, having Francis Ngannou, having the experience and the knowledge of Aljamain Sterling, Misha Tate, who comes back, who's fighting this weekend. All of these individuals are the best of the best. and some of the best in history. So being able to talk to the guy who's actually in there with them day in, day out was incredible, man. So thank you so much to Coach Eric Nicksick, and thank you everybody who's watching live right now. Remember, listen to the Fight Podcast everywhere podcasting is available: Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Check us out at thefightpodcast.com. Check me out at SERG VICENTE. Love you guys. This has been episode 302 of the greatest combat sports and culture show of the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, SERG VICENTE. I will see you guys next time right here on the show. Peace.